Welcome to Warblog. I thought I'd play Battle of Yampill. I just sort of done a few tweaks. I've changed the colour of the units. You can hardly see them, and put in the air defence. I'm half expecting there to be some sort of errors. I also entrenched all the units. Essentially, it's doubled their strength in here, so Ukrainians might not find it as easy moving them out, so I'm sort of exploring this game to some extent, as it was written a while back when the rules were slightly different. Now, I sort of want to walk through the basic sort of strategy as I see it. I just sort of point out I'm sort of having a little tea break, and I thought I need a little break, and this is perfect for a little break, which is sort of what they're designed for, but that's something else. So essentially, obviously, the rebels are in this place here, which is Yampill, I guess, in Ukraine, and the Ukrainians are going to attack them. So, but what I'm trying to point out here, they've got some armour here, and in this stack, there's a whole bunch of paratroopers who are obviously taking the bus. And this is amphibious mechanized, and you can see now we've got the air power down in the bottom bar, and we've got the units down there, so things are sort of changing now. The benefit of putting the air power in this bar is that you don't have to scroll all the way down. Before you had to scroll down to here, so if you want to attack, say, a unit up there, it was impossible because you can't get to both places to drag and drop, and now you can. But anyway, so I think to use the air power would be the first thing, but they do have some air power now, and plus the units will contribute to air power. So let's see. I think, to be quite honest, I think I might go for the ones in the open, one on each. Let's just see how that works. Now that shouldn't be there because it's probably a reinforcement. I'll have to sort that out. 2 to 1 and an exchange. So the odds here are quite good. Getting these units in the open. 2 to 1 and a defender retreat. Now the only thing I would say, actually, and I'm trying to sort of maybe sort of narrate a little sort of strategic oversight as opposed to just play the game, is I've just caused a fatigue, or I can call them fatigues, a depression, point loss, whatever, on this unit here. So you can see now he has 1 depression. This unit has 3 because he got a defender retreat, so he can never go below 1. The thing is, this unit, he can recover that depression if he doesn't move. So what my air power has effectively done is one of two things. It's caused the depression, but it's forcing him to not move for the next turn if he wants to recover. And I think anyone that's got a depression on a unit, unless they want to commit themselves to something critically and urgently, they will reorganize it, to save, because he's 50% towards not being able to recover certain depressions. He can recover that, and I would thought it'd be interesting to reorganize, to sort of reduce the risk of gaining unrecoverable depression points. So, but this one already has 1, so that was some fairly effective air power there. So the next thing, sort of strategically wise, I don't want to focus on the mechanized just yet. What I was sort of thinking, basically, I'm going to do some sort of educational tutorials, but in this one, I mean, if this sort of semi-educational, I think that the whole idea is that you would lead with your armor. Armor suddenly becomes quite significant and powerful, and I think in the real world it is as well. Obviously, you don't let it do things on its own. Now, I am going to introduce rules if armor is in cities with infantry without support, then the infantry are actually like doubled as opposed to halved. Massive difference. this represents how difficult it is for armour to actually engage infantry inside a city, and how good infantry are defending in cities. But if they had infantry support, as they've got here, so if they had 2 of these, then that would be negated because the infantry would basically, it's just a rule play. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get to here is, at the moment, that rule doesn't exist, so it doesn't really matter because we'll probably combine these anyway. But the thing to do is to lead with the artillery, with the armour. I mean, before, the way it worked, they were pretty much the same. So you just take them both together and they'd be 16. But this is actually worth 17 points against this infantry unit as opposed to 10. Now he's in city, so he's doubled. I think that's light urban. Let's just have a quick look. Oh, look, down here, click the map icon. It will disappear. That is light urban. So he's in light urban, which means he's worth 4, but he's entrenched, which means he's worth 8. So I'm worth 17. So I've only got 2 to 1, but I probably have some infantry support. So I could probably get in there sort of 3, maybe even 4 to 1. But the point is, I'm leading with my artillery, with my armour, and I think that's critical in regards to considering and developing, strategic direction in these sorts of games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can't move anymore. Now, this is an old game, and because it's still happening with some of the newer ones. He doesn't have any movement left. He never even started with any movement. Okay, so that leaves us now with the amphibious units. And now again, because they're mechanised, they actually get, well, to be quite honest, they probably don't because they're amphibious. So that's yet to be written into the rules. So they don't get an adjustment, but in theory they should get a 50% adjustment against infantry as well. But I don't think they will because I'm not sure that I've done that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The nice thing about these amphibious units is they can cross this river. These units can't. These units are stuck on this side. So they both move to 3. There's a zone of control there, so I would stop. The last time I played this, I just drove straight through. Now, one of the things that I sort of quite like about this game, in its current guise, is that putting yourself next to another unit does not necessarily mean you're going to engage in combat, because he can't really afford to attack me. Now, I can't really afford to attack him because he's worth 8, it's 1 to 1, but it's 1 to 4 for him. So I can sort of hold this position, so I am like a bunch of armoured, vehicles, outside of this place called Sortie, whatever it's called, and I'm pretty safe in my armoured cars. But I don't want to attack yet because I want to get into here and attack with 2 flanks, and I might want to do some airstrikes on that first. So that's pretty much the first Ukrainian turn. 8 minutes. Okay, so now the insurgents, which is really the Donbass People's Militia. Now I think most of these units are actually pretty much going to stay where they are. Now the question is, does this unit move or not? Well, to be quite honest, 1, 2, 3, I think I'd rather get him into this defensive position, because the chances of him getting an airstrike next turn is pretty low. Now this person is not doing so well, but I think he's going to take the risk. You've got to remember they only have a limited number of airstrikes, so you've got to expect some damage from them. And that's pretty much it. Now they've got 3 squadrons. Aha, 1-to-1 an exchange. Okay, so that'll probably be a 1-to-1 as well. There was, and then another exchange. And I think just for luck, we'll go for this one. Because he was already depressed, that was a 3-to-1, so there's not a particularly great result with just an exchange. So 3 exchanges, so he's down to 90%, he's down to 40% now. He's down to 60% of his total value. And, well, I think I'm going to try and, because I don't want him to recover. I mean, there's only 1 point of depression, it could have been more, but I think I'm going to, I can't wait for these units to come up. I'm going to hit while the iron is hot, so to speak. The combat screen now has some of the extra details. The air combat screen is yet to catch up, but that was only a 1-to-1. That was an exchange. Now that's interesting. I'll explain why in a minute. And that was a die roll of 7. It goes from 1 to 12, so just over the middle range. There's an exchange. Now the reason it's interesting is because I'm going to choose to recover that. I'm not going to have time in this little segment now, but I'm going to recover that fatigue, and he won't be able to attack me. But I don't want to sort of, and I think this is the essence of strategy, is maybe sort of reorganising and only pushing when you can, when you really see a strategic need, you know, like a forced march or something. But he's pretty much going to sit there now. I mean, he has gone up to depression 2, which is good, but he can still recover that himself. So again, the question might be, do I actually do that next turn? The only thing is, I will be able to get these units in there, push that up, and if I do this quickly, I might be able to get that attack in. Let's just go for this. I'm not going to calculate the odds, just do the numbers. 2-to-1, an exchange with a die roll of 10, so that was pretty bad luck, and that's that. So end turn, this guy is going to try and get into here, and the other guy is going to sit there and recover that depression. Everyone else is just going to sit there, and so he's on depression 2. So when they end the turn, he's now on depression 1, so he's recovered. This guy's on depression 4 because he moved. The guy below him is on depression 0 because he recovered. Okay, so ever so quickly, let's do my airstrikes first. I'll put something on this. The result. So I'm just going to do everything. One more. The result. Well, I don't have enough time, do I? 10 seconds. I'm just rushing it now because there's only a few seconds left. 5 seconds. Exchange. Okay. See you. Okay, I thought I'd go for another round. I rushed that, and it's silly now because now the armoured unit is depression 2, so I'm going to have to recover from that, I think. So I'm going to try and do it quite quickly. So what air power left here? So they're going to sort of sit there now and wait for 2 turns, reorganising. They might put a unit in there, or might not, it's a bit exposed. I don't think the Ukrainian, the Donbass People's Militia are going to want to sort of move around too much because they'll lose their entrenchments. I'm also going to attack this unit. So that was a bit better than the last ones. So he's now depressed 2, 1 to 1, and then put this attack in here. Roll a 9, so 2 to 1, they exchange. So they're now down to 3, so at least permanently depressed by 1. And next turn. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is use this. So he's dug in 1, dug in 0, dug in 11, so I don't want to be moving that one. Now what I can actually do, so he's not depressed, I'm going to move him. I can actually move this counter like this, I think. Yeah, it's a glitch, it shouldn't really happen, but it might leave it like that because it makes it easier to figure out. Okay, now he won't be able to move again because he was in a zone of control. So you can move 1 hex essentially through a zone of control unless he attacks, but he can't attack across a river. Let's just... No, I don't even want to try it. I don't want to even know if it doesn't work. Not at this stage anyway. Okay. So they're going to try and at least reinforce that, but only with this unit because he's not dug in. This other unit at least wants to recover something, so he's not going to move. So that's that. Did I press it? Probably not. Okay, so now it's the Ukrainian turn. Now here is a depression 2. So they're not going to move. They're not going to move, but I'm going to do some airstrikes, and I really want to keep the depression rates on these 2 units up. So I'm going to attack this one with 2 and this one with 1. 2 to 1 and then exchange. That at least keeps him up whilst I'm recovering. He's not. However, I don't have that many airstrikes left. 1 to 1. I was at 1 to 1. I was down at quarter strength, which is odd. So is it depression 3, depression 2, and we'll try and move one of these units. No depressions into there. Let's reload that. Right, this unit here. No depressions. I'll move him into there as well. So these units are recovering, and now I've got a flank. Exposes me to that, but there's 12 units in there. I just don't think he could really do much. But let's see. Okay, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 versus 12, so that'd be 1 to 2. Chances are they would get depressed over that and really achieve not a lot. I mean, it's doable, but I'm not going to do it, not because I wanted the Ukrainians to win, but I just sort of thinking quickly, it doesn't make sense. A 1 to 2 odd now. If it was 1 to 1, maybe. And I can't move him anywhere, so it's really just this one unit that is. So he's dug in. He's not dug in and he's not depressed. So I'm going to move him now into there. Yep, looks like that happened. Okay, and end that turn. Okay, so we've got 4 more airstrikes left. Okay, I'm gonna one of the drawbacks of this game is that if you browse or your computer is playing silly buggers, things can take a long time. Well, that was an exchange, so that was okay. Problem is, when that happens, and the computer just is like that, I forget what I'm doing. I can't remember where I attacked. That's just, it must have been there. Yeah, it wasn't there. So, I've attacked an airstrike. I want to preserve some of my air power, so I'm going to take a gamble. They've got 1 depression, but I think I'm going to win this time. Let's see. Not really going to think the odds through. They've got to be able to win. 2 to 1. Exchange. Well, that at least puts them up to 4. And here, I'm going to go in here. Oh, I just want to save my air power a little bit. I mean, I've got enough here. I've got to win. Yes, 4 to 1, defender eliminated. Okay. Still got to take the time to recover my armour, which I'm definitely going to do. But this para unit is going to advance. And he's going to sit there, depression 1, and recover for the next turn. They're probably at depression 2. And I'm going to save the remaining air power just to see what I need. Now obviously that wasn't good for the Donbass People's Militia, but there's not much else they can do with regards to spreading the load, so they're just going to sit there. And the Ukrainians are going to sit there recovering, I think. They're not ready to engage. The Donbass People's Militia are not. They're not going to. That shouldn't go below 2. Yep. But most things seem to be as recovered as they can be. Okay, the Ukrainians still depressed, so they're going to. Now they're all dug in turn. Now at this point, I think basically the Donbass People's Militia, I think they're going to be thinking, well, we can maybe put up 1 more assault, otherwise we're going to have to retreat. Because now these people have recovered, the armour has recovered, and now I can launch an assault somewhere. Now let's just have a quick look at the map. That is the den, so they were 3 times in there, so that's going to be the tough one. So I think the obvious place is here, and I think the obvious thing to do is to move there, there, and then there. That means I get 20% extra on my attack. I should come in heavy because I've got armour. 2-1. Defender retreat, so that wasn't too bad. And my armour will advance. I could push that. I don't think I will. That's interesting. The armour can contribute to this assault because he's basically acting like artillery. So I'm going to use that. 5-1, defender retreat. But my armour won't be able to move over the river. Okay. And I will advance into that space. Now I could still do it now, I think. I've still got movement. I could still pummel that unit. In actual fact, let's see what this looks like. He's still got 3 movement. He's got 4. Seven to 1, defender eliminated. Which leaves him with 1 movement. And this person has 1 movement. So this person, these 3 stacks could attack into there. But they're not going to. But I don't need to recover because I've not lost anything. Now whether or not, regardless of whether or not you win or lose a battle, you should get some fatigues or depressions, I don't know. But if you win, you don't really lose anything. It's not as though there's any need to recover after the battle. So anyway, I've still got air power. I've only got a few minutes left. And I think at this stage, the Donbass People's Militia are going to run away. And I think it's only fair. Can't go anywhere else because it's zones of control, so that's their turn over. So, mechanised amphibious infantry. That surprised me. It goes over the river like it should. Okay. Okay, well I'm going to put all my air power into here. No result. And I'm going to attack. Oh look, my mechanised infantry can't contribute. Glitch. 2-1 an exchange. Well, I'm going to leave it at that because they're just going to run away, and I hope you enjoyed that. You can play it yourself at warblog.co.uk. Cheerio! Bye.